My eyes were swelling. There was inflammation everywhere. There was cellulite. It was really, really confusing, really confusing. And the more I tried to move more, eat less, up the vegetables, everyone was telling me, greens are your best friend, Houston. Trust me, you need more greens. It was just getting worse and worse and worse. And 5 weeks ago...
Houston, how did you find Carnivore?
Right, okay. So, very short story. Only 5 weeks ago. So I'm very, very new to this. However, I'm gonna really, really rewind and go back to the very, very beginning. So I come from severe sugar addiction on another level, and binge eating. Like, I actually believe this started at birth, really. I had a pretty traumatic birth, and I was 6 weeks premature, put in an incubator. I was away from my mum. So I believe that I started to self-soothe then. It's from a young age. I remember eating sugar out the sugar jar. I really made food my best friend. It was the one thing that soothed me, that comforted me. It felt like a warm blanket was being wrapped around me. Like many people, I had a pretty unstable childhood. I wasn't in an environment where I felt safe, secure. So food was my one thing, and wherever I could get sweets, sugar, I would carry a snack bag around with me. I was always dropped off at different people's houses, and I think, looking back, adults can kind of use this, treats. And because, my mum wanted to go out, my dad wanted to go out, I would be dropped off at all different people. Well, as long as we'll give you some sweets and then we'll pick you up in a few days, or this just happened on repeat. And it really, really has been the bane of my life until now. Throughout my childhood, I was unwell a lot. Tonsillitis, lots of antibiotics. I would have styes in my eyes. I had asthma as a child. I would have cold sores every month. I would have chest infections, ear infections. I actually started to get UTIs and cystitis and thrush when I was about 10 years old. Yeah, and it was quite severe. A few times I went into hospital with it, kidney infections. I don't know if lots of things, trauma, as well as so much sugar. At 14 years old, I went to the doctor. I as a young girl, I'd started my period. It was painful. It was heavy. They didn't want to give me the pill. They wanted to balance it out. I suffered with migraines, like quite severely, where I'd be vomiting in a dark room for days. I couldn't really see. So they put an implant in my arm. I was young. I was 14. I didn't know any better. I trusted the doctor. Nobody told me any different. My mum didn't really say anything. I had the implant put in my arm, and these last for 3 years. I had them on repeat up until age 27. this, I did not have one period in that time, nothing. I kept asking my doctor, "Are you sure this is okay? Is this normal?" "Yeah, it's fine." Some people get a regular period. Some people have no period. Some people, it's just completely regular. Everyone's individual. It took me until 27 to finally have that removed out of my arm, because it just didn't sit well with me. I felt so disconnected with my body. And as a woman, I wanted to know where I was at, to feel connected, to understand my body. I'm now 32 and this has been 5 years and my period hasn't come back. This is, yeah, so this is part of the story. So this is one of my big whys. I'm not big on labels, but I did get diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I also hypothyroidism, so low thyroid. Also pre-diabetic, which is wild. I know that was at 30 years old. My sugar addiction was off the scale. My binge eating was absolutely wild. I spent the last 15 years going to naturopaths, homeopaths. I've been to acupuncture, different Chinese medicine doctors. I've been to allergy specialists. Just so many things. It's like I spent my whole life in my body knowing something wasn't right. Something isn't right in my body. I felt like I wanted to break free out of my skin. I would get rashes around my mouth. I would get, I think it's called chemosis. It's where so like the jelly in your eye, that white shiny bit, it actually swells, and it's like an allergic reaction. And it actually, it looks like there's lots of jelly in your eye, but it's attached. Don't even. I would have itchy mouth, throat. I had ringworm on my elbows, athlete's foot. My hair all fell out. Like I had strands, like tiny little strands. I've actually got all the pictures. I gained 25 pounds. From birth, I've always had constipation. I thought that was just how my body is. That's just part of me. My mum always told me that you had that as a baby, Houston. I would go back and forth to the doctors. They would tell me, Houston, eat more roughage. Houston, you need to up the fiber. I was told to soak flax seeds, so I was doing that. I was told to soak chia seeds. I was drinking prune juice. I was eating soaked dates. They told me to have warm oatmeal. I was eating more nuts and seeds. It was just getting worse and worse and worse. There's just there's just so many things. My binge eating, it was always there from a child, and I really do believe this. Really, there's a strong correlation between trauma and disordered eating, comfort eating, binge eating. But it got worse. So I actually have always been interested in health, fitness. I actually began sprinting at 9 years old, which I actually believe has saved me in some ways. So at 9 years old, I began sprinting. So I managed to build up a lot of muscle when I was young, which I believe has really helped my body. I really had a lot of muscle. At 21, I started weightlifting. I then went into the fitness industry and got qualified myself as a personal trainer, health coach, all of these things. So I then ended up going down the route of competing sort of bikini contests. So, which I understand to look at, these people can look very healthy. From my experience, it's actually one of the most unhealthy environments and industries that wild, the disordered eating, the body dysmorphia. And I hadn't actually been someone that had counted calories, tracked macros. When I entered into this industry and people were telling me, no, you can't eat the egg yolks. You have to just eat the egg white. No, Houston, you can't have chicken skin. You have to only eat the breast. No, Houston, you have to have turkey bacon. You can't eat pork. Houston, you have to only eat fat-free yogurt and all of it. I just got so confused, and I didn't understand at the time, but my health started to decline more and more and more and more. I actually looked physically fitter and leaner. I was at 1.12% body fat. For a female, that's very low. 8-pack, all of the things. I was physically strong as well, actually. However, my body internally and my mental health was absolutely shot. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't ever focus. I felt anxious and stressed all the time. From doing prep, it really, because you're restricting your calories and really not giving yourself the nutrients that your body needs, I would then binge on the weekends quite severely. After the show, I've got pictures actually of things that I collected, like my whole lounge was full of sweets, chocolate, Biscoff, Nutella. Like I would dream about it, eating cake and sugar, and I would pour golden syrup into my mouth. Like it's wild now thinking about it. Anyway, I've always been searching, like something's not right. But a lot of people didn't really pick up because I physically was never really overweight. And physically people were looking at me thinking, oh, you look fine.
She's a picture of health.
Yeah, honestly, not a family member, not a friend, nobody picked it up. Oh, you're fine. I knew I wasn't fine. Internally, I was falling apart. Really, I spent thousands. I probably could have bought, I reckon, a couple of houses. The thousands of pounds that I've spent on supplements, on herbs, spices, tinctures, acupuncture, different modalities, and mesan therapy and energy work. And I even traveled to Costa Rica, worked with a shaman. I did plant medicine. I went to Bali. I went to BSI, I think it is. I paid thousands for more blood tests. I've done stool tests, urine tests, hair tests. Nothing really has led. I've just been spinning my wheels. I went down the route of medical medium. I went I think it was called Game Changers. There was a Game Changers documentary. I went vegan for a year. There was so many Netflix, What the Hell, Cowspiracy, Food, Fork and Knives, all of these things. I had every book. I really went down the route of quite spiritual and all the sort of Indian yoga, Buddhism. It was all vegetarian that I was reading. I had every book, the China Study, every health book possible. I was then looking into, should I be doing HIIT? Should I be fasting? Should I be running long distances? Some doctors were telling me, Houston, you just need to eat less and move more. It was just blowing my mind. I was getting to the point where I was so consumed with information, and it was all very conflicting and contradicting. I took myself on a 10-month trip, solo trip, just to kind of find myself. Like, there was just something going on. I didn't know what. I couldn't control my food. I would be in bed at night just thinking about food. If I had anything in the cupboards, it had to go, especially anything sweet. I wouldn't be able to sleep until it was gone. At one point,
Do you mean gone as in eaten or gone as in thrown out?
no, eaten. And the binge eating got bad to the point where I would throw things in the bin. I would even put washing up liquid on, and it would still come back out the bin. It was like, I can't quite explain. I even went through AEA, which is Addictive Eaters Anonymous. It got so bad, I couldn't control my eating. There was a stage where I was eating 20 protein bars a day. There was one time, I actually lived in Australia for nearly 7 years. And over in Australia, people would say, Houston, you're so amazing. Like, I'm in awe. I can't believe how much you can eat. You would win contests. Like, it wasn't big or clever, but I kind of disguised it by making it into a bit of a performing seal, a little bit. Like, I was like, I made it into a bit of a party trick. I remember one time I ate 8 Big Mac meals and 3 McFlurries in one go. I couldn't control. It wasn't a physical hunger. It's kind of like an emotional starvation. It's like it comes from this part. It's like you can feel it in your mouth, you can feel it in your head, and it's like an urge that just overtakes. I was buying bags and bags. I went for a stage of eating 1.5 kilos of chocolate a day for months. I went to hypnotherapy. I did NLP. I've been through therapists. I even got trained myself in hypnotherapy, my NLP myself. Spent thousands and thousands on all of these things. It was just, I started to believe that this is just me. I'm always going to have an addiction to food or struggle with food, binge eat, sugar addiction. I'm never going to be able to go to the toilet properly. I'm going to feel unwell. It's just part of my soul contract. One doctor, I remember him saying, he did my bloods and he said, Houston, you're just somebody that's very, very sensitive. And out of a lot of people, you have to eat more vegetables. You have to really watch what you eat. You have to drink more water. You have to get more sleep. You have to, some people can get away with drinking some alcohol, having some junk food. You just can't. It just didn't sit with me. I was just like, I was eating more and more. I was taking all of this advice. eating more and more vegetables. At one point, I was eating raw spinach out the bag, bags of it, bags of raw spinach, chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds. I would buy sprouts and broccoli sprouts and all of these different herbs and spices off the internet and be adding all of it into my smoothies. I've done probably 20 juice cleanses in my life. I've been on smoothie, and I was just getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. I think it was, I'm not quite sure how to translate, but I had 111 was my fasting glucose. So I think it goes to about 6.3. I think that's right. But I was told you're pre-diabetic. I actually think I may have even been diabetic because I actually I continued to eat that. That was when I was 30. I'm 32 now. I continued to eat sugar. I couldn't stop. I would get numb feet. I would have like numb arms. I was like, oh, I'm fine. I would be going for a wee every 30 minutes. I just felt so, I couldn't think clear. It was like there was a fog over my mind.
All through this, is anyone kind of saying to you, you know, like family or friends, you probably shouldn't be eating that much of that thing? Like when you're eating, like, you know, how many was it? 6 Big Mac meals and 3 McFlurries or something. Was there no one there going? I mean, everyone's going, "Wow, amazing!" But was no one going, "Is this maybe a bit dangerous for you?"
Do you know what? Throughout my life, there's been a couple of comments, but really, Dave, nothing. And I truly believe it's because of people just look. If I was obese, I know it would be a different story. As a child, I would be at the party and I would be next to the buffet table, absolutely I couldn't get it in my mouth quick enough. I wouldn't even chew. It was like I wouldn't be wanting to do the face paint and the trampoline, or I wasn't interested. If there was food anywhere near me, especially sugar, I was there. And I truly believe that if I was an obese child, somebody would have picked up on it. But because I wasn't, everyone just I would get given sweets from everyone. Sweets. I would eat sweets on the way to school. As a teenager, I spent my dinner money on sweets. I would be in every lesson chewing sweets. Nobody really, because I wasn't overweight. Nobody, and it was wild because internally I was still going through everything, and my mental health struggled. At one point, I would sleep 15 hours a night and wake up with my eyes not wanting to open. Like, I didn't understand why. Like, I don't feel fresh. I don't feel energized. And I wasn't quite putting the two together because I would eat healthily. So I'd eat all the vegetables. I would still, eat the rainbow. I was told to eat the rainbow my whole childhood. Eat the rainbow, Houston. Get as much colour onto your plate as you possibly can. Diversity. So
Pink starburst, red starburst.
Honestly, yeah. I love the Skittles. I remember as a child, I would just pour Skittles, these licky, sour rollers. I would pop the ball out and just drink it. My sugar addiction was, I haven't really seen anything like that. It was wild. It is no doubt that I was pre-diabetic at 30. I actually believe that through the amount of muscle that I had, that saved me. And also my mind is pretty strong. I have a strong internal will. So I kind of would always be repeating, I'm well, I'm healthy, I'm fit. My body knows what to do. I'm well, I'm healthy, I'm fit. And I've always kind of done that. And I think that that has kept me like on this. Just in 2022, I took myself on this 10-month solo trip. And honestly, I was eating better than I'd ever eaten before. All of the vegetables, the fruits, Costa Rica, organic fruit and veg markets, lots of plant-based, and I was putting on more and more weight throughout these 10 months. I started to get cellulite all over my body. I've never had this. It was like cottage cheese. It was even on my arms, the fronts of my legs. I remember having a conversation with my mum, crying, saying, I don't know what's happening, Mum, but my body feels like it's falling apart, and I'm eating less and less, moving more and more, and my plate just looks full of bright, vibrant, delicious vegetables. My eyes were swelling. There was inflammation everywhere. There was cellulite. It was really, really confusing, really confusing. And the more I tried to move more, eat less, up the vegetables, everyone was telling me, greens are your best friend, Houston. Trust me, you need more greens. It was just getting worse and worse and worse. And 5 weeks ago, how I came across Carnivore was 5 weeks ago. I was led in bed and my phone went off, and my mum had sent me a video. She's called Primal Bod on Instagram, and she was talking about how she had cellulite everywhere. She was moving more, eating less, and whatever she did, it was just having the opposite effect of what she wanted, until she found this, and it was Carnivore. It was like primal eating. And then from that moment, I was like, wait, hang on. I got on YouTube, and then I just started to find Ken Berry, Dr. Chafee, you, Dr. Bright, Coach Stephen, and I've just gone down the rabbit hole the last 5 weeks. But I'm like, it's wild, everything that I've been told. And it's like everyone's trying to follow, eat the rainbow, increase your veg, reduce the fat, cut this out. Even one of the latest sort of health coaches that I worked with myself was saying to me, no, Houston, you can't eat the egg yolks. No, you can't have salmon. You can have whitefish, but not salmon, because salmon's too much fat. And yeah, I've just been spinning my wheels, trying to figure this all out. I feel like for 3 decades, and finally, don't get me wrong, I'm only 5 weeks in. However, in the last 5 weeks, yes, it's been rocky. I've cried a lot, because my sugar craving has, this is the first time in my whole entire life, so I've done 5 weeks, and I haven't had sugar. I've been really, really fat, really eating the fat. And that's first time in my whole life. Hasn't been perfect, but I've been able to go to the toilet normally. I'm like, what? I've never experienced that. Never in my life, ever. First time in my life, I feel I can think straight. I don't have that haze, that fog. I feel calmer, much calmer in my body, in myself. I feel actually more confident. I feel more at ease. I actually can go to sleep really easily. I put my head on the pillow and I actually fall asleep. Over the last 5 weeks, there 2 of the weeks, I think it was like week 3 and week 4, I was awake at 3:30, 4 every single morning, just like bright-eyed, like, what is this? I am so awake. I'm starting to sleep a little bit longer now. There's just been so many light bulb moments. I know I'm only 5 weeks and I'm like, more people, it's so empowering to feel like I'm in control of my body, my mind. I felt so powerless and so consumed by food, by sugar, by my mind. And now I really feel hope. There's hope. There's incredible changes. Even in 5 weeks, the cellulite has reduced dramatically. I haven't been really weighing myself. I know that it's because I've really been eating. Somebody that's has sugar addiction or any sort of disordered eating comes from binge eating. It takes time. And I think everyone is so individual and unique. You've got to listen to your body. So I know a lot of people talk about fasting, but right now I'm not in a place to be fasting. I'm just really...
I think that's a really good idea. Don't worry about it just now. Yeah.
Loads of protein, loads of healthy fats, but this is literally changing my life. I'm only 5 weeks in, so I'm so excited to see 3 months, 6 months. And a big why of mine, yes, is the sugar addiction, yes, is the binge eating, because it's taken my whole life, really. It's taken over my whole life so far. But also, I really believe that I will get my cycle back. It can take time, but that will be the first time since 14 years old. 14 years old. That's pretty wild.
Mm. Well, first, let me say congratulations that you found this. That's awesome. I do have one big question up front, and that is, how did you get through the cravings? Because someone's so addicted to sugar, I can't imagine.
Honestly, I've even got pictures, and I'm going to slowly start sharing this on my social, or just to help someone, because I say these things like sugar addiction, but I'm not quite sure. There was a time in Australia, actually, I bought a 5 kilo tub of Nutella, and I ate the whole entire jar with a spoon. 5 kilos of Nutella. And I didn't have the part in me that feels sick. That I didn't ever get to that. So yeah, it's been wild. So over the last 5 weeks, there have been tears. There've been a lot of tears. And whenever I've got that real sugar craving, which in all honesty has been most days, I turn to bacon, scrambled eggs, ribeyes. I've been eating pork scratchings. So I found some really good quality that are just pork rinds and sea salt, and they're cooked in pork fat. They're not in vegetable oil. So I've been going to those. Fatty lamb. I've been cooking lamb chops, lamb legs. I've been eating venison. And I really have been focusing on, I'm not a believer in counting calories anyway, and I have a big appetite. Naturally, I have a really big appetite. So I'm not feeling guilty. I'm not holding back. I'm really allowing my body to have that beautiful relationship where I trust my body. I trust if you're hungry and you're having this craving, let's just heal. So I've been really, really eating a lot of
I
fatty meat.
I think that's the best thing to be doing because, the you wanna give your body the nutrition it needs so that you don't mistake a craving for, "Oh, I've gotta have some sugar." It's just like, if there's a feeling I need to eat something, just, yeah, fatty meat, eggs, that kinda thing.
Yeah, because do you know, there's I would get up in the middle of the night in my pajamas and drive to a petrol station and just fill up 2 plastic bags of chocolate bars and go back home, sit in my bed, and allow myself to just eat 2 full bags of chocolate bars. Like, and that would in the moment give me pleasure and joy and feel like comfort, and the shame and the guilt and the headaches and the whatever that was doing to my poor body. I also don't know if you've ever been like health festivals or health fairs or different events. Like throughout my life, even in my teens, I remember going, and you can have your blood pressure done, and you can just have maybe like the blood prick where they take your blood glucose. Every time that I've ever had that done, I didn't really understand, but they've always, oh my goodness, sit down, get her jelly beans, get her, because, and I didn't understand. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't understand what's happening. But the more and more I'm watching all these YouTube videos, and I guess it was hyperglycemia. My blood sugar was so low.
It's kind of around when you would get the shakes, right? And that's usually when you would need to eat some sugar, yeah?
Yes, now I'm sort of understanding because that I really, really had so much sugar carb abuse, really, that yeah, I was just constantly on some severe roller coaster, like really damaging my body. I remember having bloods done even in Bali the last time, and I remember her saying, your liver is really struggling. Houston, your liver is really struggling. My eyes started to go a little bit yellow. I've even noticed in the last 5 weeks that they're whitening. Even my teeth have become whiter in the last 5 weeks. And Dave, I don't know what, I know I've consumed a whole lot of sugar and it's not even, but that plaque on the back of my teeth has been falling off. Like what? I just feel it in my mouth. And I'm like, what is that? And it's plaque from the back of my teeth that's just been falling off in the last 5 weeks. So like, I'm so sorry, body. I am so sorry. We are going to heal. We are going to heal. And I don't know. I trust the divine timing of my life. And I know that has to be a reason that I didn't find this sooner. I had to experience this, or, I believe that through sharing our stories and sharing our experiences, we really can heal ourselves and each other and give each other permission to kind of do the same and share our experiences. And yeah, to be honest, I kept a lot of my binge eating and sugar. I think it can be said for a lot of addictions, you can learn to be quite sly with it. And, I would show some parts, but really the depth of what I was actually experiencing and going through was another level. Like I've eaten 6 full cheesecakes in one go. I've 5 tubs of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I would eat Biscoff jars 2 a day, and then I would kind of think, okay, we got to be healthy, so I'd swap it for cashew butter and then almond butter. It was just getting wild. Then I went to eating. I was eating. I know, 2 kilos of dates at one point. 2 kilos of dates. It's like, well, at least this is natural sugar. I would cry and say, but why can I not just live off Galaxy bars or Dairy Milk? Why can I not just live off that? Like, please, I just need to have that. It was just any bit of sweetness that I could get.
Yeah. So, you've swapped the Aero bars and the Kit Kats for ribeyes. Has anyone noticed? Has any friends kind of gone, hang on, none of these are coming in a packet. What's going on?
I know. So to be honest with you, because it's only 5 weeks, I actually haven't really shared this with anyone. The other day, I did go out with a friend for lunch and I did just order, I had chicken wings. And she did say to me, you're not having any veg. You're not going to eat the rice. You're not going to, I said, oh no, I'm just really focusing on healthy fats and proteins at the moment. And no one's really, but I haven't really shared it. I've been a little bit in hermit mode and just figuring this all out. And there's been, ups and downs, but this is like the first time I'm really sharing it. And I am ready to, because the benefits are just, this has changed my life in 5 weeks, absolutely changed my life. So I'm really excited to just continue and see. Just, I know it's going to transform. Even lines in my head, you can't really, but I've got pictures of everything. I started to get deep lines, and I'm sure it's the sugar. And really, they're reducing, but I had big bags under my, worse than this. They're slowly, even my face, the puff, the inflammation has gone down. But yeah, it's a journey, isn't it? And it's 3 decades of really pretty severe sugar abuse. So I'm not expecting miracles, but I do know that, in 6 months, I believe that my whole body, internally and externally, will be completely different. Regulated hormones, a cycle. So yeah, I it's just like there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And for how severe my binge eating was and my sugar addiction, I know that it doesn't look, and I'm not sure why. I don't know why. I don't have the answer to that, especially because I got labelled or diagnosed with PCOS. I actually got labelled with binge eating disorder and with hypothyroidism. So with these 3 labels, even a lot of people are overweight with those. I can't tell you why, because I wasn't bulimic. I wasn't sick with it. I don't know. I've seen people do eating contests, and I think, well, there are a lot of people that do eating contests that aren't overweight. So maybe I just have some sort of gene like that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. You remind me that just when you're talking about the way you're eating, you remind me of this famous TV celebrity in Japan. And she's tiny, but she can just sit there and out eat anyone, and just like the hot dogs or the ramen or whatever she's eating just slips down her throat, and she's just constantly eating. And it's like, where's this going? And she'll stand up, and it's not like she has a pot where, her stomach's filled up or anything like that. It's just disappeared.
Yeah. Do you know, I've often thought, I would love to like be wired up to a machine to really understand how I'm able to do that. I don't know how I am able to do that. Any partner that I've had, even being in the fitness industry, men that are bodybuilders, I can eat much more. And even meat, people say, meat's very satiating, which it is, but I can eat a whole leg of lamb, like over 2.5 kilos. I can eat that. I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. I don't have the answers, but
so that's a good point. Like, I mean, are you at a point where you can finally feel a level of satiation day to day with this?
I am, and every day is different. There are definitely some days where I'm not quite getting feeling of that satisfaction of full, and then I do believe everything's interlinked, isn't it? So then I really sit with myself of, okay, what's going on here? Is this physical? Is this emotional? What are you needing, wanting? Are you missing connection, love, depth, something else? So yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. But I definitely have been feeling much fuller than ever before, and just creating that relationship with my body where I can actually understand its cues and listen, and that's powerful in itself, because I think for so many years I was so disconnected with my body. I didn't understand, which I think a lot of people, we don't even really know when we're hungry, when we're full, when we're thirsty, when we're tired. We kind of masking everything with external things. Yeah, this is very liberating. It's like a sense of freedom. It's like I felt like I was in prison. I've actually felt like I was in prison in my own body my whole life. And now I'm like, oh my, it's like the door just opened. I'm like, hallelujah. Like, thank you, God. Like, what? I just feel like I've found a secret. I've stumbled upon a secret. And I'm only 5 weeks, but now I just want to share it and help as many people as possible. And I am aware that, it's kind of goes against society, what most people, especially a lot of doctors and people that most people look up to or listen to or just take it as their. I have no problem with people disagreeing, having a different opinion, a different belief, a different way, but I really feel like I'm going to keep sharing my story, and I'm going to keep speaking with confidence and conviction. I'm not really going to be quiet.
Nice. Yeah, and I know what you mean about it kind of going against, especially doctors, right? It's kind of Carnivore kind of really goes against the doctrine of eat less and move more, right?
It's so wild, and especially coming from the fitness industry as well, and it's really, really about calories in, calories out. And that just never sat well with me. I was like, your body, our ancestors didn't count calories. Your body doesn't chase after calories. Your body isn't searching, it's chasing nutrients. It wants, if you can provide your body with the environment it needs, your body is a miraculous machine. It knows what to do. It knows exactly what to do. You just need to provide it with what it needs. It's like you don't put petrol in a diesel car and expect it to run. It's like what I see, unfortunately, a lot of people treat their dogs, go into the groomers, sparkly crystal collar, raw food, 2 walks a day. They treat their gardens, their fences, you know, it's all getting trimmed, and they've got a gardener, their homes, their handbags, their watches, their cars, getting the alloys polished. Most people treat all of these things better than they treat their own bodies. And it's like, this is your vessel to get you through this lifetime. You don't get to swap it in. You get one from the first breath until your last. It's like, take care of it. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's like, when you learn, teach. So
No, I fully understand. So just on that then, um, if there's someone watching now that's maybe in the same position, maybe they're in the same kind of eating position you were in before, how would you recommend they get started?
okay, so I'm really passionate, really, about every single body is so unique. Everyone is so individual, and I see so many, you know, like cookie cutter, whether it's working out or diet plans or whatever it is. It's like, not one size fits all. We're so unique. So really start with where you are, and really give yourself compassion and patience, and tune in to you. Take it slow. I would really say take it slow. Forget calorie counting and trying to restrict and amounts, and really allow your body to, you know, if you're hungry, eat, and really stop when you're comfortably full, like what Ken Berry would say. Get yourself on YouTube and watch some of these videos, watch your interviews, go and look up Dr. Chafee, Ken Berry, and I promise you, know that if I can, like, my binge eating and sugar addiction was on another level. If I can do this, you can do it. Enjoy the journey. You know, we want kind of instant gratification, and I know a lot of women are, how can I lose a stone in a week? But I'm going to Ibiza. How can I? We do know, what can I do? And it's just like, honestly, if you can just trust the process and trust your body and make friends with your body and listen, tune in, slow everything down, it's so worth it. Build that strong, stable foundation. If you can build that strong, stable foundation. So it's been scary over the last 5 weeks of, whoa, like, okay, the sugar cravings are coming, more fat, more protein, more fat, more protein, and just trusting that my body knows what to do. So tune in and tap into your body and connect and just listen to it. And if I can, you know, if I can help in any way, people can reach out. But yeah, these videos have really helped. I think I've been watching like 10 videos a day for 5 weeks. Like, really, really. Listening to other people's stories is just really, really powerful.
Yeah. So I think that's good advice. People really do need to tune into how they're feeling, and yeah, fill up on those fats and proteins.
Yeah.
So Houston, how do people get in contact with you if they want to reach out? Do you have social media or a website or anything?
Yeah. So everything is my name, Houston Lani. So I do have a YouTube channel, and it
Mhm.
is Houston Lani. I haven't really been active, but I'm gonna start, because I really just want to help and support as many people as I possibly can. So my YouTube is Houston Lani. My Instagram is I am Houston Lani. I've got a TikTok, it's Houston Lani, and my website is actually houstonlani.com.
Oh, nice.
Everything
Nice.
Houstonani.
Nice and easy to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And, you know, if anyone wants to drop me an email, hello@houstonani.com. I'm more than happy, because I know how debilitating and consuming food addiction or sugar addiction, binge eating, and just feeling trapped in your body. We can break free. Freedom, honestly, it's so powerful. I feel like, get me a microphone. I just need to walk around the streets and tell everyone.
Nice.
Oh,
Look, Houston, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and it's a really important message. Thank you so much.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll chat again, hopefully in 6 months or whenever.
Mm.
I'll be in contact. But yeah, I'm excited for this journey. And thank you for having me, Dave.